What's up, everybody? What's up?
Hey,
Super late. Probably not going to be a lot of you on here. We'll see. For the replay gang, Eric and Captain Dave here. DriverLineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holder, and world's okayest TNT trainee.
yeah, baby.
So I'll wait a minute, but for the replay gang, I'm going to tell you, I'm actually going to name this customer. Don't often do it, but I'll name this one. Bearded Fat Man, what's going on? From the pad, you're in Pittston, I assume? Pittston pad, right? How are you listening? Are you walking around with the phones playing? John St. Clair, what's going on? No, there's a few of you, a few night owls. Burning some midnight oil. Yes, we are both rocking the brand new driver lineup hats. I just got these hats from the mailroom over at Prime. Yeah, so Bearded Fat Man is walking around training pad with a live video playing. That's funny. Oh, in the passenger seat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, in the winter, Johnson's Logic. I'm not going to say your name tonight, Johnson's Logic. I'm going to try really hard. What's up, Peyton? Good evening, Corey Dinetz. Mr. Hopper, what's going on? 20 cases of ice cream rejected, and you got, oh, you have a Freightliner, so you have a little bigger fridge. There's no way you're going to be able to keep all that, though. What's up from Campus Inn? Heavy Metal Halls, what's going on, man? Fixing to go to bed, headed to Alabama in the morning. Nice. Alec, I had one of those nights where I could not back into a parking spot for the life of me after my shift. I was embarrassed. Johnson's, I almost said it, Johnson's Logic. I literally almost said it in response to your comment. That's funny. I'm sure I'll be pulling Prime trailers a lot. So that trailer situation happened to me at Bass Pro in Springfield. I could not get this damn trailer in. There were two other Prime drivers watching. I just could, and they had trailers too. And finally I gave up and just went and put it in a road that we weren't supposed to. And I talked about this like a year ago on this channel. One of the Prime drivers walked up to me and said, "Man, I'm so glad you went and put that trailer where you did, because now it's okay for us to do it." Because he was like, "I did not want to try to do it. Do what you just did." So anyway, Captain Dave and I are at Kraft in Springfield. I called outbound today at 4 o'clock and got our load switched because the load we had to Ohio had just way too much time on it for a team. And we're pretty much rolling into team right now. And there was too high of a risk, even though we could try to get repowered or repower someone else's load, there was way too high of a risk of us having to sit for 24 hours in Columbus. So I called today to get this one, and the guy, really nice, he said, "Oh yeah, just go bobtail over to Kraft. You guys driving for Prime, you know Kraft over here, over at the caves." We're not actually in the caves, we're up top. But today they were like, "This load's probably already ready. You just bobtail over there, you don't even have to take an empty trailer." So we get over here at about 11 o'clock and pull up to the guard shack. And the dude in there was so rude. He like mocked me. He said, "Is that your truck out there?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yep. You need to go park," and started barking off orders. I was absolutely unnecessarily rude to me about it. And which is fine. So I backed up, drove over here, parked, walked across the lot to him. There's no line. There's no other trucks. There's no reason he could let me sit there for 1 minute to tell me that the load's not ready. I don't know. It was just so ridiculous that there's nobody. The guard shack's right in front of us. Do you see any? There's nobody over there. It's not like we were blocking the way for others to come. There's nobody over there. There's no trucks in line or anything. He makes me walk back over there and then tells me the load's not ready. And it took him and then I asked, because he said there's signs that tell you what to do. Well, I asked him, well, where are those signs? And he said they're on the window of the damn guard shack. You can't see those signs without actually approaching the guard shack. So anyway.
The king of his guard shack kingdom.
He definitely has a very I rule the world attitude. But anyway, it's not a big deal. I mean, we're only going 600 something miles. We can drop this off anytime we want in the next 2 days. So we'll drive it straight there. But just unnecessary and ridiculous. Anyway, so we got 3 days off.
Yeah.
Hey Eric and Captain Dave, how are you guys? Doing great. Start with Wilson next week. Nice, congratulations. So Captain Dave got his wallet intact.
Everything was there. There are good people in the world.
Cash and everything.
Everything was there. Yeah.
They shipped it. It had all the cash in it, you guys.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in that.
Yeah,
wallet.
and it was only missing a 10 or a 20, I think. Let's see. Peyton, such a good guy. Honestly, hate the way people treat you. You seem helpful, etc. At least from the YouTube standpoint, you are great. I was professional and nice. I went in and I was like, hey, you said there were signs. I'm just curious where the signs might be. And he pointed at the glass window, and I'm professional. I didn't argue with him. I just, okay, yes, sir. I'm not trying to cause problems. This is a prime customer. I just, like I was telling when we were backing up in this spot that we're in, it's like, man, you might hate your job. We're just here to drive your product to your customer. We're all here doing a part of this. None of it's really sexy. Like, let's treat each other with respect, And even if he's going to be disrespectful to me, I'm still going to show him the respect because he is my customer, How's Jennifer liking the desk? She's liking it. She's trying to get used to it, but she's easing into it very quickly because she already knows a lot of the stuff that you deal with. Fat Daddy the trucker. What's up? Corey, okay, I have a question. CBs, novelty or still used a lot? I would not roll without a CB. They are used a lot, but I don't want to hear most of what's said on them. So mine is off most of the time or down unless there's low visibility or there's obviously a hazard ahead or traffic or something like that, and I need to just kind of hear what's going on. In bad weather, I'll have the CB on. So I wouldn't roll without one just because if I can't see what's going on up ahead or if weather conditions may be really bad, there's usually someone coming from the opposite direction saying, telling my direction what's ahead. That's extremely valuable to me. I've had really expensive CBs. Right now I have one that was $129 and I love it. I love it more than I had like a $350 CB. I don't remember what it was. I don't even care. I'm not a CB nerd. I'm just telling you, this little 129 Uniden, it's the little like old school silver looking one that they sell at truck stops. It's the best one I've ever had. And I did upgrade the mic. I got the aesthetic mic, which was well worth it. It's a $40 mic. It makes a big difference. But yeah, I wouldn't drive with that one. So for 130 or 170 bucks, which is a tax write-off of business expense, that could save your life or someone else's life. Why would you not carry one on the truck with you? Johnson's Logic, use it every day. Yep. Alec, I'm so happy this is my last month with CR England. Are you happy because it's your last month with CR England? You're pretty chill, Eric, with some of these people. Honestly, though, some of my favorite vids are when you're peeved a little bit. That's funny. I don't really get pissed off very often. Which one are you rolling with? Yeah, that explain that. Out of the box good, or should I go peaked and tweak? Yeah, out of the box is good. Now, I say that out of the box is good on this Peterbilt because they have much better built-in antennas. The antennas that I had on the Freightliner, you can't even see them, and they didn't work worth shit. So I don't know if this out of the box would work that well with a Freightliner. You may have to go have some antennas installed and, you know, get some more upgrades, go talk to a CB shop. But in the Peterbilt, it's fantastic. I just need to tune it. I think I've hit some of the knobs that take it out of tune.
What's up, Paper Chase? Glad you could make it tonight.
From Arizona. Can't wait to meet you guys someday. Been thinking about getting back in a truck after 5 years. Any suggested companies? Well, I'm gonna suggest Prime. I'm very biased though. Alec, I complete my 1-year contract on January 5th and I'm out of here. Nice.
Paper Chase says, watched your rap the other day. It's awesome. And you know what? It was awesome, man. I gave him some crap because I hadn't listened to his rap. And I just assumed it was not going to be awesome just because I thought, you know, I didn't, you know, you look at Eric, you don't think he's a rapper, you know. I didn't want to make any snap judgments or anything about it. You could tell I put a lot of time into that. It was really good. So for anybody who hasn't seen that, you ought to go check it out.
Yeah, my agent called and said they expect it to go platinum next week. So you guys watch for that. Be my one here. Let's see. Ain't getting any new Peterbilt. I heard anyone ordered lose where they canceled. I'm not aware of that. I know that you can't order one right now, but I'm not aware of any orders that were canceled. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I just don't know about it. I don't have any confirmation.
Bearded Fat Man, I see you're asking about videos for students coming in. Yeah, there's a ton of them, as you know, for people that go through PSD and the orientation process. But you know, Eric and I have been talking. There's not a whole lot of content for the TNT phase, so I'm planning to do a weekly recap of TNT because I think that's important. You know, how we progress, the things we're working on, challenges along the way. You know, and just, you know, it's very important to work that relationship too, because there has to be open communication both ways to, you know, continue to improve. I think sometimes, you know, I'm still just a couple weeks into it, but I think if it's just like a relationship with your family, with your wife or your kids, you have to work at it every day to make sure that keep moving in the right direction. So there will be some of that stuff coming out for sure.
Yeah, and and I may do a video directly because I like to do videos on, hey, reality checks, you know, because you're right. I think now we both have good work ethics. Obviously he was in Desert Storm infantry, so he was like, you know, the tip of the spear, you know what I mean?
Many moons ago.
So we both have good work ethic, but there is I do think there's a lot of people who come into Prime that are surprised to find that in a period of time where they're not an actual employee and not getting paid, they have to go out there and bust their ass. And I do think that that's a little bit of a shock to some, for sure. And I definitely would be willing to do a reality check video on that. I don't know if you have CDO, but I've been out of the truck. And so Captain Dave talked about his test. He had a kerfuffle. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Kerfuffle. He didn't. Well, I mean, he failed his test, but he failed his test for
silly reasons.
Yeah, not a lack of effort in preparing for it. But he aced his pre-trip the first time, and that's because he just worked at it. And we're seeing a lot over there fail their pre-trip because they're going back to the hotel and turning TV on, stuff like that. There's just a lot of little things you can't mess around on. Desert Storm feels like yesterday. Yeah, see, I feel that way too. I remember we all had ribbons all over our cars and stuff. I remember Desert. I was young at the time, but I still remember it. What's crazy is that there's people old enough to drink that probably have no idea what Desert Storm was. That's kind of scary.
32 years ago. It's crazy it's been that long, but...
Has it really been 32 years?
Yeah, well, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in August of 1990.
Wow. Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have said that. 32 years since Desert Storm. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, so there's people old enough to drink who weren't alive. Hey, Johnson's Logic, can you remove, if you're still in here? Oh, was timed out by... Okay, thank you. Yeah. You were already on top of it. Someone trying to spam the live chat. Hoping to pick both of your brains about team driving with my wife. We are so excited for the new opportunity. Yeah, it's that's the way to do it. We were talking about that earlier on our way to Prime. They don't talk about it much on Fridays in their safety meetings and stuff because it's extremely lucrative. I mean, it's just very, very, it's stupidly lucrative to run as a husband and wife team. And I think they don't talk about the money that husband and wife teams make because it would mess with everybody else psychologically. It's not a good bar you want to set and show everybody else because it's just unrealistic for anyone else to come close to it. But if you've got two drivers and all the profit of that truck comes into their bank accounts or their joint bank account, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and for me, when I started putting a pencil to it and started to realize what the possibilities were, I couldn't believe it. But that's really the only way it works for me because I had a good job. I made really good money, but now by doing this, if it works out, and God willing it will, my wife gets out on the road with me, we're going to double my income. We're going to double the good money that I already made. So it's incredible potential. And yeah, Eric's done it. There are others out there that have done it with their wife or their husband or their spouse, and lots of resources out there to tap into. And a lot of the content from my channel is going to be specifically about that. And for people that may be a little older that are looking at coming to Prime as a second or a third career, and it's crazy for me it was crazy to throw out the idea to my wife that, hey, what do you think about trucking? She thought she looked at me like I'd grown a second head and said, you're crazy, I'd never want to do that. But slowly over time we talked about it and we worked on it, and here we are, and it looks like it's going to happen. So it can happen for any of you. Sure.
Yeah, it's and And I don't know if your wife is afraid of it, but she shouldn't be. I know his wife was a little, I don't know if hesitant's the right word.
And still is, quite honestly. I mean, she's got some apprehension. She hasn't been here. She hasn't been to Springfield. She knows nothing about where you stay, nothing about PSD or TNT. So it's all just based on what I've told her. So.
And when we pulled into the Loves, she was waiting for him because he had to get his, convert to his hard copy CDL. She was like, "You guys look so tiny in that truck." It is like I remember when I first got to Prime, my trainer said, "Do you have any questions?" I'm like, "How the hell do you make a right turn with one of these?" It's so hard to really grasp until you do it. But Jenna's a little girl, and she drove this truck just as good as anybody else. So it's you shouldn't. Hopefully she's not scared of it. The process is intimidating, but the truck becomes pretty comfortable to drive. Doubling income sounds like a plan. Yeah, it's amazing. Johnson's Logic, you were exempt from the draft by age, right? Hasn't
Who, me?
Johnson's Logic. Johnson's Logic. You're a little sprout. There hasn't been a draft.
There is no draft.
Yeah, in your lifetime. The only draft is the one coming through my open window right now. There's no. So yeah, you were exempt from the draft by age. John St. Clair, mid-60s. She's on board. She's just nervous about being on a truck with a stranger. Yeah.
That's why you get trained, and then you can do TNT. You can train her for TNT.
Yeah, and right now Prime is making pretty crazy good exemptions. It's a little scary, but I would have taken the opportunity too. They're letting spouses TNT train spouses after 30 days after upgrade. If that was an option for me, I would have trained Jenna at 30 days too. Although she hadn't decided to drive a truck yet. And I think some of that is that obviously anyone should. Not all trainers or students think this way, but the other person in your truck, you're responsible for their life, and they're responsible for yours. But when it's your wife or your husband, man, you think about things just very differently. Not to say that I'm not safe for his sake, I am. But when it's your wife back there,
takes it to a whole different level.
It does. It's a whole. I think that's part of why. I think husband and wife teams are very safe. We're always on time, and the record probably speaks for itself.
And I think the really cool thing about it too is, Eric shared some of this, that it's not an equal division of labor, just like it is not an equal division of labor in your relationship at home. When you're teaming with your wife, you're gonna take up some of the slack. I mean, you'll do certain things for your wife that possibly or probably you would not have done with a regular team member. You've had that expectation that you're going to do your work and I'm going to do my work, but it's work for them, and I'm sure it will work for me too. I mean, my wife is 5 foot and 3/4 and she weighs 110 pounds. I just can't imagine her doing some of the physical work outside the truck. She'll give it the old college try, but those cranking that the handle and opening and closing those doors and getting them to latch, that's challenging for any of us sometimes. So
Yeah.
I think, Eric, you've kind of said that for you guys, pretty much you handled most of the stuff outside the truck, and she deal with the shippers and receivers and deal with the paperwork. So you work out a plan, whatever works out.
Yeah, you definitely have a very natural system. Even things like, I mean, occasionally I'm going to grab him a cup of coffee if he wants, although I haven't learned how he likes it. But Jenna if we had a fuel stop, I fueled the truck and she went in and got coffee and supplies and things like that. You know, we just had little systems that you're only going to get as a husband-wife team. At shippers and receivers, if I woke up and I was in the bed, I'd get up and help her. Well, you know, just a regular team or in TNT, once you get actually running as teams, you don't get out of bed. You know, the other person's shift is their shift. So it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting how you create these systems that make you very efficient. Not that you can't be efficient anyway, you can, but I love running husband and wife team. I'll never experience it again, but I very much enjoyed it in that 2 years. 40,000 miles with a trainer at Prime based on a reevaluation. No one has my back like my wife and vice versa. Yeah, exactly. Eric, the draft talk was because of my prior comments re-Vietnam draft. Okay.
Yeah, you say he's 60 or older, dude. So he must have been drafted. Draft card anyway.
Into Vietnam?
Yeah.
What are the training options you have recently about? You have been off the truck 5 years. Yeah, I think Johnson's Logic answered that. We knew why Jennifer deals with a customer. I was just, when we came over here and backed in, I said, man, if that was your wife or my wife, that dude would not have treated those two like he treated me.
Play to your strengths, right?
Yeah, Jenna could, you know, drop the zipper on her front 2 inches and get damn near anything she wanted.
I hope she's asleep.
She would. In fact, I threw out the Hershey's bars. She kept, because you guys know when you go to Hershey, they give you these bars. Well, they had been in there. I was gonna eat that thing. They've been in there a long time.
I don't care.
At Hershey's, they give you free candy. So she would keep that in the refrigerator and take it in with her. Try to look all cute and take in chocolate, you know, bat her eyes a little bit. And she could get us into places early, the easiest dock. She got live loads turned into dropping hooks. Man, if it's me, I get exactly what I just got. Thank you guys so much for the inspiration and information. Yeah, no problem. Hard dropped. Wombats, what's going on? Peyton, what's some good breakfast places out there if you have time to sit down to eat that you ate on the road? Breakfast. Well, a lot of you guys are going to hate this because I ran a poll on this and I lost, but I'm Team Huddle House. Now that's a chain, I get it, but they have just a certain few plates that I really like. As far as breakfast, I've got a couple places here in Springfield that have ruined everything out on the road for me. It's unmatched. They have $1 billion bacon. It's not actually $1 billion, but it's amazing. For breakfast, I can't say that I have anything for you. I know where a lot of good taco joints are. A lot of good Mexican food.
Catfish.
We ate pretty good Mexican food last week. And there's Johnson's Logic. You may know this one. It's in Temple, Georgia.
Across
from Flying J in Temple, Georgia. I've eaten there probably 5 or 6 times, and we went in there and ate last week. It was really good. I recommend you go sit down in there. When they put it in the styrofoam box, it's not quite as good. If you have time, go sit down in there, and it's really good. But I know some amazing places. There's a place up on I-80 right before Pittston, at a absolute shithole of a Pilot. I think it's a Pilot. Nowhere to park. I mean, just a dump of a place. And there's a little tiny taco truck sort of joint that's always there across the street off of I-80. Right before you get to 81 going east. Man, those tacos are amazing. I mean, they're authentic. Don't get them with the hot sauce. unless you can handle it really, really hot. And I can deal with hot stuff.
Not me.
But man, my trainer, when I was in TNT, that's the first time I ever ate there. He goes, I called him when he was getting fuel. I said, hey, they're asking if you want it low, medium, or hot. I can't remember the way they asked. He said, I'll bring it hot. I brought it hot to him. He sweat going down the road for about 20 minutes. He had so much regret. $1 million bacon. Yeah, Mr. Hopper. Well, there's one that's not quite in Branson. It's in Ozark. That place is the shit for breakfast. Oh, it's so good. It's not breakfast, but Chicago Cheesesteak Company in Springfield. Nice.
Brad's selling parts off your Freightliner as we speak. Yeah, those load locks we just gave him, huh?
Yeah, we just gave him 3 load locks. He probably sells all his load locks.
I need some more.
And just has me come resupply him. Team Waffle House. All right, I better get off here in case this guy calls me, because if I don't answer, he's really gonna let me have it. So I want to make sure. Let's see, haven't worked for Prime in 6. Has it already been 6 months? But anyway, well, there's a lot of you up tonight. Yeah, you bought 2 of them. How much did you sell it to you for? I didn't pay for those. There were 3 load locks in a trailer, an empty trailer. Which, by the way, I've never reported leaving load locks in a trailer, and I've never reported gaining load locks, and I've never been charged for them, and I've never been credited for them. But it's always just a wash for me, because every time I get low, I find a whole bunch of them.
Yes, Fat Daddy, you can request a vaccinated trainer. Just be prepared to wait. You know, this is like with anything else. If you have a special request, it's probably going to take longer in an environment right now where it's already taken a long time to get a trainer. So, but if that's important to you, they'll work down there to make you get matched up with someone that's been vaccinated, I'm sure.
Yeah. And he's absolutely right. And you guys, just going to be honest with you, it's going to be easier right now to find a trainer that's not vaccinated. Just being honest with you. If you have a problem with a trainer that's not vaccinated, then don't request me. Let's see, Fat Daddy, thank you. No problem. How much are load locks at Prime? Brand new, they're $35. I'm not. They're supposed to charge you if you gain them, and then charge the other driver if you lose them and credit you. I've never done it. My fleet manager asked me one time. He called me and he said that a driver said that he left 3 load locks in the trailer. And I said, yes, but I left them in the trailer too because I didn't have room for them. So I didn't get charged for those. But I have drivers tell me all the time, oh yeah, you're supposed to do it. Maybe you're supposed to. I don't bother with it because I always find them and I always lose them, and I've never been without them. So to me, it's all just a wash. I don't get all crazy about it. John, so I still have 4 load locks and tire chains I can't use. Oh yeah, because you got super single chains.
$60 a piece for load locks.
Yeah, they are $60 at truck stops. They're $35 at Prime. $60 a piece at Prime, or is that at a truck stop in Pittston? They're not supposed to charge you $60 a piece. They're supposed to be $35. Hopper, never knew you were supposed to report load locks. Yeah, see. So it's obviously not. You're supposed to tell Justin. So Hopper has my fleet manager. You're supposed to message your fleet manager if you gain load locks in a trailer you pick up, or if you lose them, like if you're dropping off you know, a sealed trailer that you don't get to open up and you've got 2 load locks in there, you're supposed to let your fleet manager know so you can get credit for those. For me, it's always just worked out. It's always just a wash. Do you get good loads out of Laredo, Texas? Yes. There's a amazing tomato load that is crap. What's the shipper that they're in Detroit? They're in Jonestown, PA. Anyway, there's great loads. You pick up great loads at the Prime Yard too that come across from Mexico. Johnson's Logic. I wouldn't report gaining them.
Sell them for $60 a piece.
Yeah, you can go buy them from Brad, apparently. Drove down to Florida today to pick up my student. Talked to him this morning, and he decided he was gonna be a no-show and now won't answer any calls. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. If he's not answering and didn't show up, he ain't gonna answer your call. Bought 2 from Prime, now I have 8. Nice. Alright guys, we're 36 minutes in, so we're gonna get this one closed down. Flash sale, party now. Well, I'm gonna close this out and wait for this load. I don't know, I'm glad I didn't get coffee and start drinking it, because this could be a while. But appreciate you guys tuning in for a late night chat. Watch for tomorrow's video. We're going to introduce Captain Dave's new YouTube channel and get you up to date on where we are with TNT, where we hope to be in 2 weeks, and some other odds and ends. So, you guys, thanks for joining us. Be safe, make good decisions, always drive, thrive. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.